But
Okay.
today, I think Facebook got some problem, you know?
Oh, okay, Facebook problem. Okay. Okay, it's 8:30. Maybe we can let Terence kick off.
Thanks, Patrick. Two and good evening, everyone. Welcome to MSBS Weekly Guided Meditation by Phra Goh. Today is the last day of June 29, June 2021. MSBS is grateful to have with us CK Adhibalo, better known as Phra Goh. CK was born on July 14, 1985, and had his equal ordination to the Theravada tradition of Thai Dhamma sect at Satipatthana Monastery, Johor, in Malaysia in 2008. Spent his 5 months retreat at various forest monasteries in Malaysia and Thailand. He is currently the religious advisor to Buddhist Youth Network Singapore and has been conducting MSBS Weekly Guided Meditation since July 2020. This week we are continuing last week's talk on 5 qualities conducive for enlightenment. Mate will be leading the homage to the Buddha and taking of 5 precepts for Buddha. Now let's focus our minds, put our palms together, and welcome. Over to you, Mate.
All right, thank you, Terence, for the introduction. So we shall proceed. So wait for Terence to load the opening chant.
Can you see?
It's still in black screen.
Yeah.
Now?
Still a black screen. Okay, now we can see. Yeah. Okay, so we start off the homage. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. And the 3 refuges. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. And the 5 precepts. Panatipata viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adinadana viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Kamesu miccācara viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musavada viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Suramiraya majjapamadatthana viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, and good evening, everyone. And today we shall continue this series of talks on the 5 qualities, or some would say 5 faculties or 5 powers. It's one of the crucial common themes in this 37 factors of enlightenment, or the 7 set of qualities. You can find it in the Eightfold Path. So these are essential qualities, and in terms of practice. So last few sessions we've been talking about faith. Yeah, and today we are still talking about faith. Still haven't ended. We talk about how to select a good teacher. So there's this particular sutta that talks about how does a student, or how does his monks, the Buddha's monks, know whether the Buddha is fully enlightened. So the Buddha mentioned this selection criteria, and today we are continuing, right? So we can apply this also in our common day context, how to look for a good teacher. But of course, we cannot find someone equivalent like the Buddha. So you just find the whichever is best in your location. Okay, next. Okay, so we've talked about in the previous slide, the last week talk until how to know, at least from observation, from the eyes and ears, whether your teacher has reduced craving. Yeah, are they good in their behavior, good in their speech? Do they have defilements? Do they express their defilements? Do they have good qualities? And are these qualities, good qualities, matured and developed? So we talk about this. Okay, so we go to the fear part. Next. Yeah, next slide. Okay, so until this point, we talked until this the last session. So we stopped until here. So basically, is you observe. So this is like the main thing, right? In Buddhism, enlightenment means overcoming greed and hatred. Greed and hatred. So if a person has overcome lust, overcome greed, so that would mean they've reached the goal, right? So you observe behavior. They don't display any form of greed in the way they eat, the way they handle items, the way they handle objects. They don't display any greed when they accept offerings, right? They don't display any form of excitement. Then that is not good enough. No, that's just physical. Maybe for show, who knows? Yeah, some people are just maybe habitual. So in the Buddha's time, the monks are encouraged to ask the Buddha, have you overcome this greed? And the Buddha, being the founder of the religion, he will just answer honestly. He will answer yes, overcome, right? But like mentioned in the previous series of talks, this multi-tradition, same liberation, and there's so many traditions, there's so many standards of what is enlightenment. Everybody has different ideals, everybody has different definition of what is enlightenment. And also after this, the Buddha also laid down the rules, not for monks to declare any of their attainments, especially to unordained people. So you won't get a direct answer from any sort of conventional monastic, whether how far have they realized, right? So very hard to get a straight answer. So we'll answer, okay, all of us have room for improvement. We are still walking the Bodhisattva path, whatever it is. So you won't get a clear answer. The whole idea is to have anonymity and equality among all the Sangha. So again, you can judge based on the best, just on the external behavior. So we have one step higher. The next one is look at the quality of their teaching. Look at the quality of their teaching. Next. Okay, so this is where a student can benefit or progress. Right? So in modern times, right, just like investing or investment, right, any investment guru will tell you, don't put all the eggs in the same nest. Don't invest everything in one place. Right? Sometimes good to diversify your investment. So let's say any beginner, you want to look for a teacher, it's good to look for multiple teachers first. Then you can learn from multiple sources and see which style you're comfortable, which teaching style you're comfortable, and then you can go deeper into that. Then along the way, if let's say that particular teacher doesn't give you any more satisfactory teachings or you don't find any improvement, then you can widen your search again. So this was the how the practitioners in the Buddha's time, we call the samanas, they jump from teacher to teacher. And you want to talk about being open-handed, and we're not hiding anything. So that's the freedom to investigate. Okay, so now we're talking about theoretical level, the understanding of the doctrines. Okay, so I'm going to read through these 2 points. So bhikkhus, a disciple should approach the teacher who speaks thus. Okay, bhikkhu means monks, right? So a disciple can mean anybody. It can be the monks or even a lay person. For the teacher who speaks thus in order to hear the Dhamma. The teacher teaches him the Dhamma with its higher and higher levels. Right? So if let's say a person has, let's say, a PhD in Buddhism, he can teach all the way, all the steps, all the teachings, no problem. Right? So likewise, I can copy and paste from the website, all the suttas, can teach everything, no problem. This is theoretical only. Okay. With its more and more sublime levels. Okay, so when you talk about sublime levels, this is more experiential. So this one is up to the individual to teach. So if a person is experienced meditator, then they can teach these sublime levels with its dark and bright counterparts. Okay, so the next point. As the teacher teaches the Dhamma to a bhikkhu in this way through direct knowledge of a certain teaching, here in that Dhamma. Okay, so when we talk about direct knowledge, it means experiencing. Experiencing. So this is the term for direct knowledge. It means experiencing. It's not about what you read here and then you just by theoretical understanding. No. So direct knowledge means you see for yourself, experience for yourself. Okay, so the bhikkhu comes to a conclusion about the teachings. Right. So again, everybody has different depth. Everybody comes to a different conclusion. Sometimes at different points of time in our practice, we may revise a certain aspect of a teaching over and over again, and we will come up with different conclusions. Right? So we have different depth of understanding over time. So whatever conclusion at the current point of time, you have certain level of devotion, a certain level of confidence. Right? So he places confidence in the teacher thus. The Blessed One is fully enlightened, the Dhamma is well proclaimed by the Blessed One, the Sangha is practicing the good way. Right? So for this case, the Buddha, right, his disciples will know, okay, this is the Buddha. His teaching is very clear and they see the Dhamma. Right? So if let's say you want to select a teacher, you want to learn from certain teacher, you go around listening to different talks or go for different meditation classes or retreats, then after some time you have certain understanding, then you develop a certain kind of confidence. Certain confidence, you tend to follow maybe to a certain extent, and again, it's good to always review. Yeah, always good to review, troubleshoot, and see whether you have newer conclusions. Okay, next. Okay, then next one, bhikkhus. When anyone's faith has been planted, rooted, and established in the Tathagata, Tathagata means the Buddha, through these reasons, terms and phrases. His faith is said to be supported by reasons. Right? So interestingly, the Buddha don't encourage blind faith. Yeah, don't encourage blind faith. So if a person just believe out of blind faith, then it's easily be a person can be very vulnerable and easily abused, right? For many reasons. Sometimes if you invest wrongly, your faith wrongly, if you if you're very unlucky, then gonna cult or whatever it is, then you get cheated, you get whatever it is, right? Then you get disadvantaged. Okay, rooted in vision, firm. It is invincible by any recluse or Brahmin or God or Mara or Brahma or by anyone in the world. Okay, so it's saying the faith has to be so strong that even the devil cannot persuade you otherwise. So if a person truly sees the Dhamma, right, truly experiences the teaching seen for themselves, experiences spiritual happiness. So this is an unshakable kind of faith. So no kind of mischievous deity or even a good deity. Sometimes they might come and test people. Many suttas recorded such stories. Not even a very good deity, they want to test certain qualities in certain people. They might give you doubt, challenge you, and if you pass the test, that means you're all right. If you don't pass the test, that means you're not up to the mark. Yeah, so it can be a good deity, a demon, a devil, whatever it is, come and persuade you, tempt you, and if you fail, that means it's still not good enough faith, still shaken. So the faith can be strengthened by wisdom, yeah, through by reason. So we talk about the five powers and five qualities. It is has to be balanced, and it has to all the five they grow kind of in relation to each other. You cannot just have one growing and the other is not growing. Then it's not the actual kind of faith. Then it becomes like blind faith. Yeah. Okay. Then the next point, that is how, because there is an investigation of the Tathagata in accordance with the Dhamma. Right, that means you investigate your teacher in accordance with the truth or the teachings that lead to good. Right, so this Dhamma is not about just any ordinary kind of truth, but the Dhamma that leads to inward peace. And that is how the Tathagata is well investigated in accordance with the Dhamma. Okay, so it's found in this Vimamsaka Sutta. I've been taking excerpts here and there for easy visual presentation. So the full sutta, most of the contents actually can be found here. So you can search for yourself this Vimamsaka Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 47, right? And move on to the next slide. Okay, so we now talk about the second quality of these five qualities. So the next one is effort, or this virya, right? So some people translate energy. So these are the four right efforts we've covered before in the Noble Eightfold Path. So these are the four things. Okay, so the first one, there is a case where a monk generates desire, endeavors, activates persistence. So very interesting. Right? In Buddhism, we always talk about desire is the cause of suffering. Then what kind of desire are we generating? Right? So it's not the unwholesome kind of desire, but a positive kind of desire. Right? So in meditation, I've been always mentioning about the paradox of this right effort. Right? A lot of times, people think meditation, relax, don't force us and don't exert anything. No, just relax and do nothing and sit back. So if a person doesn't apply enough of this effort, then it's easy for the mind to idle and cling to unskillful mind states, right? These unwholesome qualities. So the mind will not cling to daydreaming, sleeping, drowsiness, whatever it is. So that's the nature of the mind. right? So a person needs to reprogram the mind. You need to keep on generating this right thought, right? So that is part of right effort. Right? Generates desire, endeavors, activates persistence, upholds and exerts its intent for the sake of the non-arising of evil, unskillful qualities that have not yet arisen. Okay, so if you just take this alone, then very difficult. You now out of the 4 right efforts, if you just observe one, this first one, not to let unwholesome states arise, a bit difficult because you do not have the solution. You just make a wish. I don't want to have unwholesome thoughts arise. I don't want greed arise. I don't want hatred to arise. Very difficult. Yeah, you need something else. You need to occupy your mind with something wholesome. Yeah, so we talk about the second point. He generates desire, endeavors, activates persistence, upholds and exerts intent for the sake of abandonment of evil, unskillful qualities that have arisen. So likewise, if a person has negative thoughts of greed or hatred, maybe jealousy, whatever it is. So if it is unwholesome, negative states of mind, and you want to just stop it, it'll be very tough if you do not have something positive to look forward to. Yeah? So you just take the first or the second or the first two, a bit tough. So you need the antidote. So the antidote is point 3 and 4. He generates desire, endeavors, activates persistence, upholds and exerts intent for the sake of arising of skillful qualities that have not yet arisen. Right? So a person, let's say if their mind is occupied with something unwholesome, either greed or hatred, that's what we normally start off with our meditation, then we need to apply wholesome thoughts. So we start off with thinking of loving kindness first to overcome aversion. Right? So we need to start off with something good. So we have something to look forward to. Yeah? So when our mind is occupied with good, then the mind will slowly counteract the unwholesome or the negative states of mind. And the fourth quality, the fourth point, it generates desire, endeavors, activates persistence, upholds and exerts its intent for the maintenance, non-confusion, increased plenitude, development and culmination of skillful qualities that have arisen. And this monks is called right effort. Right? So just by generating good states of mind, not good enough. You have to maintain and you need to develop and perfect it. Yeah, so this is part of right effort. So it's not just attending this class, be it theoretical or meditation. Just think for 1 second. May all beings be well and happy. Then you stop there. No, you need to continue. Right. So that's why in meditation, especially my routine, I will keep on saying, do not stop generating right thought. Yeah, you need to keep generating. Every new sensation arise, either you have loving kindness or you think of thoughts of impermanence, right? Any right thought, you just keep on generating and generating, or whatever kind of meditation or practice. If you're reciting the Buddha's name and you just keep on repeating over and over and over again and do not stop. Yeah, so this is right effort. So the Eightfold Path is actually together. It's not just right thought, right? So all the mindfulness and all the effort is the same package. Okay, then we move on. Okay, then we talk about this mindfulness and the same package. So this is actually the third quality. Yeah, very fast. Yeah, so we've covered this in detail already in the first series of this year on the Maha Satipatthana Sutta, the 4 foundations of mindfulness. So basically, this is the summary. The summary. What is this mindfulness? Yeah. So there's so many definitions of mindfulness, but the right mindfulness in the Buddhist context, yeah, the right mindfulness is a person no, I'll just read it. Yeah, there's a case where a monk or any practitioner remains focused on the body in and of itself, ardent, alert, and mindful, putting aside greed and distress with reference to the world. So a person needs to put aside greed and distress with reference to the world. So this is the objective, to reduce greed and distress. So if there are some other kinds of mindfulness, you need to be aware of the beauty of your surrounding environment. If you taste the food, you must know all the tastes, like a food gourmet expert. Yeah, you must enjoy all the tastes and all the flavors. And the more if you do it and you get into this enjoyment, fall into greed and more craving for this kind of sensual things, then it defeats the purpose. It's not the right kind of mindfulness. Yeah, it's called circular mindfulness. Circular mindfulness. Yeah. So the second one, he remains focused on feelings in and of itself, the mind in and of itself, mental qualities in and of themselves. So what it means by in and of itself, that means you can just focus on one. You can just ignore the other three. And let's say mindful of the body in and of itself, that means you can don't care about the feelings, mind, and mental qualities, or most of translators call it Dhamma, or the phenomenon. Yeah. So Ajahn Jeffrey, he translates as mental qualities. Okay, then if you want to focus on feelings, then that can be good enough. You can, if your mind can't multitask, then you have to think of this body, mind, or Dhamma. But it's actually 4 in 1. It's all related. Yeah. Okay, then the last point is this is the direct path for the purification of beings, for the overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, for the disappearance of pain and distress, for the attainment of the right method, and for the realization of unbinding. In other words, the 4 frames of reference, or the 4 foundations of mindfulness. So this is the definition. Right. So of course, they never mentioned the actual solution. The process actually requires observing the arising and passing away of the phenomenon. Yeah, arising, passing away of the body, arising and passing away of the feelings, arising, passing away of the mind, arising and passing away of the Dhamma, or the mental qualities. So this is actually the actual execution. A person needs to observe impermanence. If a person just observe body, anybody can just look at the body. And how to detach, how to put aside greed and distress. For so many years in our entire lives, many decades in our life, in our existence, we are mindful of our feelings, we are mindful of our states of mind, right? But there may not be detachment. How to detach? Right? Some people think of the mind, mindful state of mind. The more they think, or let's say they are upset, then they always stay aware of this upset emotion. They are aware. Then the more they are aware, the more depressed they get. Yeah. So there is an actual technique on letting go, on detachment, putting aside this greed and distress. So it requires observing impermanence all the time. So this is actually part of right effort, and right thought and right effort. Always aware of impermanence every second. Okay, every second is some might think is over exaggerating, but no. Right? I'm going to give this story again about this mindfulness of death contemplation. It's just an example. So the Buddha was asking this group of monks, how often do you reflect on this contemplation of death? So the exercise is about, I am subject to death. Death is unavoidable. So this is the contemplation of death. It's not about wanting to die. No, it's different. I'm not encouraging people to look forward to death. This contemplation of death is to reflect on this reality. It's part of the phase of life. One day we will all eventually meet this death. Yeah. Okay. So one of the students, he replied, the Buddha every year And the Buddha said, no, it's too slow. Another student replied every month, no, too slow. Another replied every week. And the Buddha said, no, too slow, not good enough. And another one replied every day. And the Buddha said, no, not good enough. And the final answer, the model student, the model answer would be every in and out breath. Every time you breathe in, yeah, it's possible to die. Every time you breathe out, yeah, you're getting closer to death also. So this is the contemplation of this death. So we talk about this amount of effort. Yeah, this amount of the rate of reflection has to be this close. I mean, this rapid. Right? If you just wait for every Tuesday, then you just come to listen to this Dhamma class. Oh yeah, impermanence. Yeah, impermanence. And what happens to the six days or the 6.5 days when you're waiting for Dhamma class? Your mind back to square one. You're just creating the habitual karmic conditions to believe in permanence. Everything is real. No, I won't get sick one. I won't die one. So yeah, we have this default programming to believe in permanence. Live forever. I'll be healthy forever. So this is our inbuilt kind of programming. All right. So the takeaway for today's lesson is about reflection on effort and impermanence. All right, so yeah, now it's 9 o'clock. I've covered 3 qualities today out of the 5. Hopefully it's not too much. And yeah, I open the ground for sharing, for Q&A. Anyone in Zoom or in the comments on Facebook, feel free to shoot away your questions. Or pretty clear, no doubt. Really, all look forward to the sitting session. Yeah? Okay, if there's no issues, then we can have our usual 5-minute break, and you can do some stretching or use the washroom, and we'll be right back for the guided meditation. So it's 9:03, so I'll see you at 9:08. Yeah. Hey, it's 9:08. Let's wait for people to slowly return. So while waiting for the rest, while taking a break, does anyone have any questions that pop up in the mind? Or no issues, huh? Okay. Okay, so I guess we can start now. Find a comfortable sitting position. Make sure your back is upright and your body relaxed. And we are going to start off again with the standard routine, which is first detaching our body. We're always attached to our bodies, so we are going to visualize your hairs, and we are going to wish all the hairs well and happy from head to toe. And because there's so much hair all over the body, we are going to keep generating this loving kindness every time we think of a new area of hair. Right, new patch of hair, well and happy, new patch of hair, well and happy. And then we are going to introduce thoughts of non-greed. So all these hairs go through this birth, aging, sickness, and passing away. So they grow long, turn white, get dirty, and they fall off. So you keep thinking of the birth and death of the hairs, growing and falling, many birth and death cycles. No need to think of any dramas or scenarios or stories on how you take care of your hair and so on, Just hairs growing and falling. The more the merrier. And then we can reflect by asking ourselves, are these hairs truly self? Can we tell the hairs not to go through birth and death? Okay, and the next part of the body, we are going to visualize the nails. Yeah, we wish all the fingernails well and happy, and all the toenails well and happy. And all these nails go through birth, aging, decay, and passing away. And so they keep growing and falling off, growing and falling off. So you think of the birth and death cycle many, many times. The more the merrier. And we can ask ourselves, are these nails truly self? Can we tell the nails not to go through this birth and death? Next, we can visualize the teeth, all the teeth inside the mouth. May they be well and happy. So all the upper rows of teeth, may they be well and happy. And all the lower rows of teeth, may they be well and happy. And all these teeth are subject to birth, aging, decay, and passing away. So there's lots of wear and tear and grinding whenever we chew. So we Keep thinking of the bone cells. They keep growing and falling, growing and falling. And we think of this birth and death cycle many, many times. So one of the tips or advice is that along the journey where we keep generating this right thought or impermanence, sometimes we may experience certain peace or happiness. Do not stop and cling on to those experiences. Yeah, carry on the journey as though like you drive past the road and all these beautiful sceneries. You just take note, but no need to stop the journey and look at the sceneries. Right? Keep traveling. Keep mindful of impermanence. So when there is a good or bad kind of sensations, and just treat them as passing sceneries. Yeah, it can be a road accident by the side. Yeah, you don't have to slow down, take a look, and create a traffic jam. Okay, then we can ask ourselves, are these teeth truly self? Can we tell the teeth not to go through birth and death? Next up, we are going to visualize the skin and the skin of the entire body from head to toe. I'm going to wish all the skin well and happy. So the same thing, the skin is also a rather large area. So whenever we think of a new patch of skin, we wish it well and happy. And new patch of skin, well and happy. New patch of skin, well and happy. Okay, and we're going to contemplate on the impermanence of the skin. So all the skin go through this birth, aging, sickness, and passing away. So we always have skin growing and falling many, many times. And think of this birth and death cycles. Many, many cycles of birth and death. And then we can ask ourselves, are the skin truly self? Can we tell the skin not to go through birth and death? Next up, we are now going to practice this 4 sublime states. This loving kindness, compassion, appreciative joy, and equanimity. So let's start off with this loving kindness. We are going to wish all beings in front well and happy. This time around, no need to visualize it, just you can feel the direction in front. It's a spatial training, and no need to force or exert, just a gentle wish. And we come back to ourselves. And we are going to wish all beings behind, may they be well and happy. And we come back to ourselves. And we wish may all beings on the left be well and happy. And we come back to ourselves. And we wish may all beings on the right be well and happy. And we come back to ourselves. And now we wish all beings above, may they be well and happy. And then we come back to ourselves. And we wish may all beings below be well and happy. And we come back to ourselves. And this time round, we are going to feel the entire body with loving kindness from head to toe, including the insides of the body. And we're just going to feel the sensations we'll do. And no need to visualize. So we wish all the body parts, all the sensations well and happy. And whatever sensation that arises, just wish it well and happy. No need to create the sensation, no need to cling onto it, and no need to push it away. Just treat all the sensations as passerby. Any sensation that arises, sort of pass by, you just wish it well and happy. And we're going to suffuse this whole body with loving kindness. And then you can take note of this emotion, of this experience of restricted loving kindness, just within the confines of the body. And now we are now trying to cultivate boundless loving kindness. And now we are going to wish all beings in all directions well and happy, be it above, below, and all across. All beings in the entire universe, may they be well and happy. No need to deliberately visualize, no need to push your attention outward. Just make a gentle wish, and wherever your attention may be, it could be inside the body or outside the body, as long as you can feel a sensation, and just wish it well and happy. So same thing, sensation arise, well and happy, sensation arise, well and happy. Never leave the mind idle. Leaving the mind idle, it's most conducive for falling asleep. Yeah? So the more loving kindness you generate, and the mind should get calmer and calmer, and that is actually getting closer to the state of boundlessness. Now we are not deliberately extending the mind. If we are exerting and feeling strain, that is actually a form of restriction. So what we are doing is removing the boundaries of craving, of this aversion. So once we reduce this aversion or craving, then the mind will naturally enter this state of boundlessness. So the same thing, no matter how peaceful or how pleasant the experience, keep generating loving kindness at every sensation. When we take note of this state of mind, is actually loving kindness with backed with concentration. Yeah. So now we are adding some insight or some wisdom to this practice, and we are now going to observe the impermanence of all these sensations. That means the arising and passing away of all these phenomenon, all the dharmas, all the mental formations, all the feelings, how they come and go, many multiple births and deaths of every sensation. This is to cultivate a more unconditional kind of loving kindness. So the more you think of impermanence or this detachment, the mind will slowly evolve into this equanimity. It means the happy feeling or emotion will dissipate, and it's very normal, yeah? So whatever you experience, do not let go of impermanence. Keep generating impermanence. And now we are switching to the second sublime state, which is compassion. Right? And now we are going to wish all beings, may they be free from suffering. So we are not going to visualize or think of anybody that is starving or they are getting sick or any form of pain. We are going to observe the here and now, moment-to-moment sensations. Reason being, if we were to visualize or think of such scenarios, it's a very dissipating form of compassion, drains the mental energy. So we are now cultivating the very recharging kind of compassion. So every moment we just observe the here and now arising sensations. Every sensation, every phenomenon, we wish it free from suffering. So the more thought moments of compassion you generate, and the calmer the mind will get, and the closer you delve into this boundless compassion. So I want you to take note of this experience or this sensation. This is compassion through concentration. Yeah, so it's a bit of recharging the mind. Of course, in daily life, you need to find a good balance and not to overtrain yourself while extending help to others. Yeah? Okay, and now we are going a step further and developing this sort of unconditional kind of compassion that's adding some wisdom and insight. So the same thing, how to be truly free from suffering, that is actually to learn to let go of these formations. So every moment you need to observe the impermanence of all the sensations, birth and death, arising, passing of all phenomena. So this is compassion with some insight. And we are now moving to the third sublime state, which is appreciative joy. So this time we are now rejoicing in the accomplishments of all sentient beings. Right, and same thing, no need to think of any person that achieve, something more than you. We just think of moment to moment arising dharmas. Yeah. So we appreciate, we are sort of rejoicing and grateful of our existence. Right? We can observe and be aware of this moment to moment arising. And may all beings may not be separated from what they have achieved. So what we are now is because of all the combined experience, or all the combined moments of experience. Yeah? So what we have achieved is because of this moment to moment arising sensations. So the more appreciative joy you generate, and the calmer the mind will be, and you will slowly enter to this state of boundlessness, or the state of calm. And now we're adding some insight or some wisdom to this appreciative joy. And this time around is a bit of a spoiler. One day we will be separated from all that is dear and appealing to us. So all experiences, they come and go. Yeah? So we not just observe the arising sensations, but how it disappears. They don't just come, yeah, they also go. So all experiences come and go, come and go. All sensations arise and pass away. So we keep observing the impermanence of all formations. And next we are going to cultivate this equanimity and the fourth sublime state. Although some of us already have experiences of equanimity with the first three sublime states. So this one is a ground-up approach. Now we are going to reflect or contemplate on karmas. Yeah, so the traditional way of cultivating equanimity is reflecting on karma. So all beings are the owners of their actions, heir to their actions. Whatever good and bad that we do, we shall be the recipients. So again, no need to think or visualize of any story or what I've done in the past that I deserve this. We just reduce the speculation and observe the here and now, moment to moment sensations. So whatever pleasant sensations that occur, that is the good karmas ripening, and all the unpleasant sensations that occur are the bad karmas ripening. So in short, any sensation arising, that's karmas. If it's neutral, then it's neutral karma, yeah? So the more you reflect on karma, then the calmer the mind will get. And you enter this state of boundless equanimity, or this kind of calm, where there's no joy, no happiness. Okay, and now we are going to add some wisdom or insight into this equanimity. And we always talk about how to escape, how to transcend karma. Right? It's to detach ourselves from these karmas. And what we're doing is the same thing, observe impermanence of all the karmas, arising and passing of all sensations. Arising and passing of feelings, arising and passing away of karmas. So actually, we are reflecting on 5 aggregates. Karma is actually karmic formations. They are actually also mental formations. So they're called sankharas. And before we conclude this session, just a gentle reminder from the Karaniya Metta Sutta, as long as a person is always mindful of this loving kindness or these 4 immeasurables, be it standing, walking, sitting, or lying down, then this is one of the highest practice. And with that in mind, we can physically open our eyes, but mentally always mindful of this right thought, and the sublime states or the impermanence. Okay, those who have, it's raining here. Yeah, for those who have opened your eyes, are there any problems or questions, any issues? Yes, Jan.
Yeah, I have just come out from my mind because I remember reading the words in the previous presentation about the right mindfulness, right? Actually, is the method to cure sorrow and lamentation.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, maybe Bante can elaborate how to do that.
Yeah, so because right mindfulness is part of the Eightfold Path. Yeah, part of the Eightfold Path. So that is the middle way that leads to purification, to overcome this suffering. Yeah, and even in the Satipatthana Sutta, the 4 foundation of mindfulness, sometimes it is also mentioned this is the only way, the one way to end this suffering. Yeah, so and you can look through the previous talks on this topic, the emphasis is always on mindful of this impermanence. So this right mindfulness also covers this right thought. Yeah, right thought, thought of non-greed and non-delusion. So as long as a person keep mindful of impermanence, always think, observe or reflect on arising and passing away, then naturally there's this this passion. The mind naturally won't want to cling onto any object. Yeah. So does that clarify or answer the question?
Yeah. Okay. That is the theoretical view of that, you know. But in actual case, because I think in the marketplace, right, in the daily life, we have a lot of instances that can affect us. It can feel sorrowful, can feel lamentation of certain things, which is I think normal people have all experienced it. Then how to actually remove that particular feeling, you know, sorrow and lamentation, using the right mindfulness that you mentioned just now. How is actually the practical, you know, how to do actually that? Not just understanding is okay. I understand. Understanding everything is impermanent is one way. Yeah, but how actually to do that in terms of meditation? Yeah.
Okay, so if a person who are fresh off the bat, without going through the meditation, without experiencing any of the detachment or equanimity, and they straight away want to face the problem and want to apply on the spot, a bit hard, yeah, a bit hard. So once we have a certain grasp on this detachment through impermanence, then we slowly get used to this state of mind. So whenever we, go about, daily activities, then it's much more easier to detect. We are more sensitive to suffering, more sensitive to stress. Then at least there's like an inner kind of alarm or trigger this our mind that tell us, okay, now we are reacting, we are clinging on to this whatever, daily life problems, right? And we can slowly remind ourselves to apply this right thought. Yeah, so it's a gradual process. It doesn't happen overnight. Yeah.
So it takes practice, Bante, to be able to come to the state of mind by practicing it. Often do meditation, then we can actually go into that state, and all the sorrow and lamentation can actually gradually disappear if we maintain the stable state of mind.
Yeah, we won't cling to the unpleasant feelings. Yeah. Okay. Okay, any other questions?
Just a comment, Mate.
Yeah.
I think only the Arahant can, totally remove this sorrow and lamentation.
Yeah, correct. So that's the eventual goal. Yeah, eventual goal. Okay. Angie, if you have something.
Bante, the last part of the meditation, you say we contemplated on karma and the sensation, good or pleasant or unpleasant. And you link that to Sankhara, the mental formation. I'm trying to see where the link there.
Okay. Yeah, all our experiences are produced from karmic formations. So that's the thing that generates our experience.
Then where does the mental formation come into play here?
Yeah, mental formation is equivalent to karmic formation.
Okay, let me go and understand more. Thanks.
Okay. No problem. Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other issues or questions? Okay, if there isn't, then we can. Healing, yes.
Okay, referring to the question of Madam Angie just now regarding the mental formation and the karmic formation.
Yeah.
If we look back at the dependent origination, the sankhara is represented by the imagery of a potter shaping the pots. So the karmic formation, is it the action that we do in our past lives that created that that resulted in our defilements, such as probably in the past we with our deeds that we do out of greed, out of ill will, and out of delusion, and that resulted in that mental formation that resulted in our present. I'm totally.
Yeah, most of our mental habits, or we call this habitual karma, our habitual thinking process are shaped by our past. Yeah, so hopefully that gives you some clue. Okay, all right. Any other issues? If not, yeah, we can end the session. It's past 10 already. Okay. Okay, now we are going to dedicate merits. Akasata ja Bhumata Devanaga Mahitika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakantu Loka Sasana Yedavata Jam Hihi Sampadang Punya Sampadang Sabe Deva Sabe Puta Sabe Sata Anumodantu Sabha Sampati Siddhya. Transference of merits to departed. Idam menyati nang hotu, sukita hontu nyatayo. Idam menyati nang hotu, sukita hontu nyatayo. Idam menyati nang hotu, sukita hontu nyatayo. And aspiration. Imina punya kamina mame bala samagamo satan samagamo hotu yawa nibbana patiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, so we end tonight's session. Any announcements from Terence?
No announcement, Bate.
Okay, then if there's nothing, then I'll see you next week. All right, good night.
Okay,
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay,
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.